Chairman, are you there? Okay.
I'm okay.
Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
They be quiet.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, it's in your packet. Gary, do you need a packet? I thought everybody went electronic, so I didn't have this.
No, I'm a trustee on
Okay. Yeah, it was probably the last page.
with my sister Jennifer.
Okay.
My sister. Not always.
So, let's see here. Notice of this meeting stating the date, time, and place have been disseminated as required under the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. Roll call, Chairman Infante. Vice Chairperson Humphrey. Commissioner Baycott.
Here.
Commissioner Boyd.
Here.
Commissioner Manuzza.
Here.
Commissioner Matlos.
Here.
Commissioner Orlean.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I need to, I don't have minutes for February 3rd's meeting. I asked about it. You know, we're not really sure. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I wasn't there, so we'll have to figure out a way to maybe draft them from the video or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't have minutes for February 3rd. I need a motion to approve the bills as presented. It's this, it looks like that. This one? Oh, this one right here.
We have a bill that's got to be submitted to attorney.
Okay,
So we'll take care of that tonight.
you can submit it, yeah. There's nobody here to kind of check, so.
Can't hear.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So the attorney bill will be submitted tonight.
Okay.
I can't hear.
So, I'm looking at the bill, for 1/8,
1/8, okay?
that was, for the services of Manfredi, that was like 1/8.
It's very hard. We can't hear anything.
Yeah.
And especially for seniors who are deaf, we can't
Okay.
hear.
So, that was for 15,000, that was just, is that for 1 month, for 50,000?
I'm
matter.
assuming so, yes.
So the LHA was charged $15,000 for 1 month by,
And usually the way it works is obviously if it was paid on 1/8, chances are the bill came in right around that point. So it was for the month before usually.
oh, so it was for the month.
Yeah.
So everyone, how much do we pay for legal fees?
It ranges anywhere from, you know, what you see there, the 15,000. It's all, it's all different.
And last year, what was the total amount that we paid in legal fees last one? Last year.
Okay, so last year, for public housing only, there was nothing for Section 8, this was just public housing, $231,778.
So last year, we paid how much?
$231,778.
$778.
Yes,
That's to Manfredi, the attorney?
correct, Manfredi and Pellecchio
Pellecchio.
for year ending 9/30/24.
And the year before that, how much were the legal fees?
No, they're talking about the attorney.
Yeah, we'd have to go back and look, yeah. I can't even look on my phone.
Would it be possible for us to get get the invoices to these, for that total amount?
Yeah, I don't see.
Okay, I would like to get
You
the,
guys have to approve the paying, so.
yeah, I just wanna see.
So how far back do you want?
I wanna go back 5 years.
Oh, God, that might be a stretch, but we'll, because I think, yeah, I mean, Gary has access to the. All right. Yeah, it might take a little bit of time to pull it
Okay,
all
that's okay.
together, but we'll get it for you.
Thank you.
Right?
Well, you can take action.
Okay.
We gotta,
I need a motion to approve the bills. Does anybody want to make a motion?
a motion on table through the bills. I make a motion to approve the bills,
Okay. Second.
inclusive of the lawyer that's being submitted, you know,
Okay.
tonight.
Does everybody understand that
Yes.
amendment?
Yeah.
What's the amendment, Kath?
To approve the bills inclusive of the attorney bill that will be submitted tonight.
Well, what is the bill? How can we approve something and vote if it's gonna be submitted later?
Vote it up or down.
A motion is on the table, we need
The
to move the
motion's on the
motion.
table. Yeah.
So the.
Didn't you
well,
second
So
it?
the maker of the motion, which was Sherry,
Uh-huh.
you agree with the amendment?
Motion's on the table.
Okay. Anybody second? Okay. Okay, roll chairperson Infante,
No.
vice chair Humphrey,
Yes.
Commissioner Baycott,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Manutza,
Yes.
Commissioner Matlos,
Yes.
Commissioner Orlean.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
So just for the record, Mr. Infante has indicated through an email to Kathy Sanders at 3:39 p.m. this afternoon that under the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-8, and in parentheses it says 6, commissioners may attend board meetings in person or by communication equipment. Just so everyone's aware, I've taken a look at NJSA 10:4-8. Specifically, it's under the definitions section. It's, first of all, there is no 10:4-8 number 6. In fact, what there is definitions. 10:4-8, public body. Public body means a commission, authority, board, council, committee, or other group or 2 or more persons organized under the laws of this state, collectively empowered as a voting body to perform public governmental functions affecting the rights, duties, obligations, privileges, benefits, or other legal relations of any persons or collective, et cetera, et cetera. B defines a meeting as including any gathering, whether corporeal or means of communication equipment, which is attended by or open to all the members of the public, held with the intent on the part of the members present to discuss or act as a unit open to the public. In this instance, this public meeting has not been called as a virtual meeting. This meeting was called as an in-person meeting. There was no indication that there would be communication equipment that would be utilized for purposes of the meeting. Therefore, the suggestion that Mr. Infante should be able to participate via telephone is inconsistent with what the board is doing here this evening, where every other board member is here, every other commissioner is present. I will state for the record that Mr. Infante wasn't present at the last meeting as well.
His mom has cancer.
Also, I have, to say that in absence of the, chair, the vice chair should be in charge, and he's absent, he's not in the meeting. And the meeting was posted, it should be a Zoom meeting. I mean, it should be a in-person meeting. It should be an in-person, not by phone, by Zoom, it was published as an in-person meeting.
So is there any issue?
So Ray, so you're saying that I'm not eligible to partake?
You can come to the meeting like everybody else.
Okay, no, I'm just asking. Okay, and then one more question for you, Ray. As far as this meeting is a special meeting, correct?
I don't know what the meeting is. Whether it's special or regular. It's a meeting.
I believe, who called the meeting?
It's a special meeting.
Right, who
Correct.
called the meeting?
The board called the meeting.
I'm on the board and I didn't know about the meeting
You obviously did. That's why you sent an email, right?
Wait, let me finish.
Right?
Speak. I did not know about the meeting until a few days ago, and I believe the way the bylaws are written or the statutes are written, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not an attorney, when it comes to housing, that board members can't call a meeting unless they submit something in writing to the chair.
If you have a challenge to it, bring it up in court. File an action. You can hang the phone up, because he's not here.
And one more thing before, when you guys let me go, I believe the open public meetings law requires 2 newspapers, the meeting, and I do not believe we met that requirement.
Okay, so
Thank
it'll be a
you.
challenge.
I hung up on him.
Thank you.
That's fine.
Terrible.
I think the residents,
He doesn't want jurors.
Followed up.
let's continue with the agenda.
Okay, I need a motion to accept the secretary treasurer's report as presented. That's this form here. And if anybody has any questions, obviously, feel free to ask. Did you get a package?
If this is in here, it's fine. Yeah.
That's what you guys want?
Motion to accept.
I have a question, I'm sorry. You already go through the answers. When did these CDs begin?
I wanna say, off the top of my head, I wanna say it was,
So we have some staggered CDs so that they don't all come due
We can't
at
hear.
the same time. The most recent CDs that matured in December, and they were rolled over at the
What
current
period of
rates.
time are they going for?
They go either 6 or 12 months, so that they stagger in case we need to withdraw funds at any given point.
But no longer than 12 months?
Correct.
so, I have a motion, right, Chair, Vice Chair?
To accept the,
Yep, to accept the secretary treasurer's report.
I'll second.
Vice Chair Humphrey,
yes.
Commissioner Baycott? Yes. Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Manuzza,
Yes.
Commissioner Matlos?
Yes.
Commissioner Orlean?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, just one thing I want to report on. We received a letter from the Union County Division on Aging regarding the congregate program, the lunch, which is a lunch service we have here. Apparently, due to budget constraints, they're closing down this location. However, tenants are encouraged to either apply for the Meals on Wheels program, or they can go to the Gregorio Center down on Helen Street. There's some other centers here. While I try to beg and plead to get them to reconsider, I even offered trying to do something like maybe public outreach around the neighborhood, sending letters to other tenants, trying to encourage more participation. They said there's really nothing they can do at this time. So I just wanted to kind of let everybody know that.
Do you need anything, any help from the board or anything?
Unless we can continue to beg them to come back, because I tried to explain to them, I says, even if we get one person to come down to eat, that's probably a meal that they wouldn't have any other way. So, while we have, most tenants are pretty ambulatory, they're not ambulatory enough to get in a car, they don't, half of them don't drive to go down to town. And they're not eligible really for Meals on Wheels because they can do that, so they kind of fall in that crack. So if there's something we can do, even like I said, if it's putting a flyer out to tenants, or even encouraging during lease-ups and stuff, like participate in the program. And where else are you gonna go to get a meal for, what is it, under $2? $1.75, you get a full meal. You know, that's the only thing with that, so we can figure something out, work together to try to come up with something, that would be great.
Any help you need from us, we're there to help you.
Thank you.
That would be good.
Other than that, the next thing is, the maintenance director's report. Am I following the agenda? That's read and file, unless anybody have any questions with that. I know Ray wants to report on the condition of the situation with the elevator project.
Wait, can I see the?
It's the maintenance report, right here. I know, I promise next time you'll have folders, now that I know this is what to, we used to do folders, but, I was told we were electronic. So, Ray, do you want to report on the elevators?
Yeah, we are entering phase 2 of the 1601 elevator upgrade. We just put the big elevator number 2 back into service. Elevator 1 upgrade will begin tomorrow. The upgrade hasn't come without its challenges, as we had to shut down both elevators for new electrical tie-ins. We prepared the tenants and asked them to give us a total of 8 hours for without the elevator service. But big shout out to Current Elevator for getting the job done in just under 5 hours. We also notified the police and fire departments of the proposed shutdown, and they were very cooperative, knowing that the only way would be the stairs if they had to remove an emergency problem. But all went off flawlessly. So it's on to the second car, and these poor people here know what it's like sharing an elevator with maintenance and with each other.
Yeah.
And apparently the second elevator is not going to take as long, because most of the hard stuff is done already, the wiring and things of that nature. But I really do have to say the tenants, when we had to shut down both elevators, they were amazing. Like, you didn't even know there was any issues happening. Like, they didn't say anything, there was no complaints. Thankfully, there was no emergencies. Everybody handled it really well. Like I told them, I said, think of it like a snow day. You know, you're gonna stay home, put your feet up, watch Netflix, eat popcorn, whatever. You know, enjoy the day and don't worry about anything. If you need anything, call downstairs. And they were really good with that, so. Any other questions for the maintenance report?
I do have a question. Ray, at the last meeting, I think that, because we had our commissioners meeting with the residents, and there were a few, concerns that some of the residents had. And one of the concerns was we didn't have enough maintenance people to take care of the upkeep of the building. Now, how many maintenance people, because you're in charge, how many maintenance people do you have helping you right now?
Just for this building, there's 2.
There's 2, and how does that work?
I mean, there's always, another hand would always be better, but according to HUD, we're at our, 2 and plus me. I mean, we're at our limit. So.
Well, if you don't tell us, we don't run the day-to-day operation.
Right.
So we only know what you tell us. But the residents were concerned. We just want to make sure that there are enough maintenance people to take care of the upkeep of the building.
Sure.
So you stated that there's only 2.
There's 2 right now.
So one in the morning, and then.
No, there's 2 during the day.
Okay, 2 during the day.
And then one of those fellows actually lives in the building, so then he takes care of the night calls as well.
Oh, okay. So there's someone there. Is that sufficient? You said HUD.
No, because he's doing all 3 buildings.
So when you said HUD, who's HUD? Because since being on the board, I hear HUD. As if HUD is a big bad wall. And when talking to HUD, they're very nice people. So I just wanted to know, who the HUD is, who stated that.
I guess it's just a common thing. They give you a certain amount of men per unit in the building that you're in.
Okay. Okay, I just want to understand, because we want to make sure that you all have the help that you need to help the residents.
Sure.
Because as commissioners, we are here for the interests of the residents that are here. You know, that's all what we're here for. We wanna make sure that, you know, that their quality of life is the best. My elderly mother lives in the senior building. So for me, I believe in taking care of our vulnerable people, our
Absolutely.
elderly, our people with disability. And I will continue to advocate for them because, you know, they deserve it. They paved the way for us, you know? And I often say that our elderly, we should put them high on a pedestal. Whatever they need, they should get.
Right?
Whatever they need, they should get. I just want all of you to know that we are here to be a voice for you, to advocate for you. We do not run the day-to-day operations of the facility. The only thing we know is what the interim director tells us or the attorney tells us, so we don't know. So it was really wonderful when we had that meeting that Friday to hear from you, because HUD requires that every year that commissioners have a meeting with the residents. I want all of you to understand that we are all here for you. Like the maintenance situation, we don't know. Like we don't know how many people are working, there's not enough people. We don't know who needs to be hired, who not hired. Unless someone presents it to us, we don't know. I just want you to understand.
Also, how many units are in this building?
201.
201, how many are vacant?
Right now, there's 3.
Right.
But one is kind of in limbo because it was an eviction.
Okay.
And there's that whole process you have to wait,
Okay.
which is something I have to discuss later on, I guess,
Only
with
3
Ray.
vacant.
It was kind of left in limbo right now.
I'm familiar.
Okay.
Oh,
And also, this building is for, disability or, what is this
Senior-
building?
It's 62 or older,
62.
and
No,
then
not
if you're
this.
under 62, you have to be disabled. You have to be disabled.
so
So
if you.
it's disabled adults or elderly.
Repeat that? 62?
Elderly and disabled, so it's, if you're 62 or older, you're on Social Security, obviously, you're eligible for your, if you're under 62, you have to be disabled.
Okay,
Sorry.
That's right.
okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate it. And thank you, Ray, for all that you do.
Any other questions on the maintenance report? And I'm sorry, when I was speaking with the attorney, I think, did you ask like how many maintenance men per unit or?
Yeah, per unit, I just wanted to know.
I can find out for sure how they figure that out.
Because that was one of the concerns that the residents had, and we just want to make sure that they know that that we brought their concerns
Yeah.
to the people who run the day-to-day.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
I'll find out, I'll get back to you on that. Okay, is there any unfinished business? We don't have any unfinished business? Vice Chair? Nothing,
I
right?
think we have for the, new
Yeah.
business.
Okay, no unfinished business. Okay, so closed session, closed session this time. Okay, I need to make a motion to go into closed session. Before I do that, I want to confirm what you want. You want to stay here, or do you want to go in that office?
My suggestion is to go into the office, so everyone doesn't have to leave
Okay,
this room.
so that's what we'll do. We're gonna go into closed session. We're gonna go into the office and handle what we have to handle. You guys can stay seated if you like.
Really good.
And then we'll be out.
Thank you.
And I would like to thank everyone for coming.
So I need a motion to go into closed session.
Excuse me, for what reason? I want to ask a question. Is this a meeting with y'all or is this a meeting with everyone? Because I can't hardly hear y'all. And I'm using my good ear to hear.
Oh, we apologize.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Speak up
It's a
some.
board,
Just speak
it's a
up,
board
please.
meeting, and, we apologize for that. We don't have any microphones unfortunately, except for what's on the
Thank you for
podium.
letting us know.
But thank you, Ron, we appreciate that.
Next time it needs to be a mic.
Yeah, we had one and it kind of zapped the system. We'll get
Now we
that
gotta
fixed.
sit and wait.
The gremlins. Okay, I need a motion to go into closed session.
Excuse me.
Okay, we're gonna go into closed session and discuss contracts, personnel, and attorney-client privilege. Okay, who made the motion?
Me.
Oh, Gary. And who second?
Let the
Okay,
seniors wait again.
Vice Chairperson Humphrey.
Yes.
Commissioner Bacot? Yes. Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Manetza?
Yes.
Commissioner Matlos?
Yes.
And Commissioner Rhodes?
Yes.
Okay, we can, step into that one, a little bit. Okay, I need a motion to come out of closed session, we're all here, right? Motion by. Vice Chair Humphrey,
Yes.
Commissioner Bacot, Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Manetza,
Yes.
Commissioner Matlos.
Yes.
Commissioner Orlean,
Yes.
okay? Randy, you want to read the resolution?
Really? I can, just want to make sure I have it right. All right, so this is a proposed resolution to approve the addition of Kathy Sanders as a user on the ELOC system to replace Jerry Volpe, who is the former interim executive director. Kathy Sanders.
Speak a little louder for everybody back here.
Thank you.
This is a resolution to approve Kathy Sanders in her capacity as Deputy Executive Director as a user of the ELOC system, replacing Jerry Volpe, who was the former interim executive director. Is there a motion?
Motion. I'll second.
Okay, any discussion on Vice Chair Humphrey,
Yes.
Commissioner Bacot? Yes. Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Manetza,
Yes.
Commissioner Matlos?
Yes.
Commissioner Orlean?
Yes.
Right, well, she's here for now.
The next resolution is to approve Kathy Sanders in her capacity as Deputy Executive Director as a signatory on all bank accounts in place of Jerry Volpe, since he is no longer the interim executive director. She will be an additional signatory along with Sherry Humphrey.
Praise the Lord.
Also removed from this account will be Joseph Infante as a signatory.
Motion.
I agree.
I'll second.
Okay, Vice Chair Humphrey,
Yes.
Commissioner Bacot? Yes. Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Manetza,
Yes.
Commissioner Matlos?
Yes.
Commissioner Orlean?
Yes.
This last resolution is for a special meeting to meet with AMA. That is a company that performs Section 8 services on March the 26th for a special meeting to provide a report to the Board of Commissioners.
And what was the date, I'm sorry?
March the 26th, 5:30.
You're gonna meet here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you motioning?
No, she motion.
Who's moving?
And second?
Second.
Vice Chair Humphrey,
Yes.
Commissioner Bacot?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd? Yes. Commissioner Manetza,
Yes.
Commissioner Matlos?
Yes.
Commissioner Orlean?
Yes.
You have the narrow conference that you,
Yeah, I have
I don't
that
know if
here.
you want to attend.
Do we need to do a motion?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if that's how you've done it in the past.
A resolution to approve the attendance to the New Jersey NARO for April 27th through the 30th at the Borgata in Atlantic City for commissioner, I guess it's open to the commissioners to go. Do we have to specify?
Yes, whoever the commissioners are, and it's for training,
Yes,
for
for
commissioner
training.
training.
Okay.
That's required.
What about an employee, any employees? Do we have to specify that as well, or?
Yeah, if there are employees who you identify.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
right, because they have the inspired training. Okay, so, it's Sherry, Yvonne, and Sharon will be going as commissioners, right? We didn't- And then, myself and Ray from the housing. Okay.
Just put last names on the resolution.
I'll write up a cleaner version for you. It's all chicken scratch at this point. So I need a motion and a second.
Tell you, he's handsome, the lawyer.
Second. Vice Chair Humphrey,
Yes.
Commissioner Baycott,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Manutza,
Yes.
Commissioner Matlos.
Yes.
Commissioner Arlene.
Yes.
Anything else at this point? Okay. So, the next thing. Attorney's report, anything for the attorney's report?
My report was in closed session.
Okay.
The
Commissioner,
attorney's report, I'm the attorney, my report was in closed session because it's an attorney-client privilege conversation
Okay, thank you.
to the benefit of the housing authority.
All right.
okay, public comments, I have to do a motion to go into public comments?
You can?
Yeah. Should we make a motion to
Public comment.
open up the public
Motion
comments?
to go in public.
I'll second.
Okay. Chairman Humphrey,
Yes.
Vice Chairman, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Commissioner Baycott,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Manutza,
Yes.
Commissioner Matlos.
Yes.
Commissioner Orlean.
Yes.
Okay? Public comments, you can step up to the microphone, is the mic on?
Turn,
No.
I could probably speak loud enough. I know it. Better? Can you hear? How's that? Check, check?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. Thanks. Good evening, everybody. Gretchen Brook, Newman Place in Rosedale. Also, I am the Vice President of the Linden Housing Corporation. A lot has transpired in the past month, so I'd just like to inform the residents, and I had some questions for the board. First, I'd like to know what is the status with the new executive director that you appointed at your last meeting, Ms. Berghammer?
Is Ms. Berghammer here in the audience?
Well, that doesn't matter, she's not sitting within the board.
she's right there.
Hi, Dr. Berghammer. So have you been working, she's with the board now, everything is cleared through HUD?
We don't have a response to that. Next question.
Okay, well, I'm just surprised because usually that approval comes through very quickly. There's no status report, do we know how long it'll take?
Well, when you say usually, that approval comes very quickly. There's been, in the past, I don't know, 20-some years, you had one housing authority executive director. That was Ann Ferguson, right? And Ann Ferguson served in the capacity of the executive director for decades and decades until she retired in September of 2023.
She's putting the
There was no other executive director that was appointed by this housing authority. There was an interim executive director, but the interim executive director didn't have to go through a process. So I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Okay, I'll try and be a little clearer, Mr. Hamlin, but thank you for that explanation. I'm very well aware of how long Ann Ferguson was serving here. I guess I'm just questioning it because, one, we didn't know about a new executive director being appointed.
Who's we?
The residents, the other boards, meaning,
You're a resident here?
what was that?
She
You're a
said she
resident
wasn't
here?
a resident.
No, I'm not.
Okay, so it's not.
Are you always this rude to people? I mean, I'm trying to be nice. You are
Continue. Next question.
very
Oh
arrogant.
Next
my
question.
God,
Next question.
seriously?
Next question.
That's
Have some
okay, I'll keep
compassion,
going.
you make
It's
me
all
not
on
want to
video.
speak
Next
now.
question. Next question.
So no, I'd like to know, I've done my homework, and I know that when it comes to an executive director leaving a housing authority and a new one being appointed, usually it is approved by HUD in a short period of time. So I guess, going back to the last meeting, can you let me finish? I thought you were a professional.
You were asking questions, I answered your question, you
Listen,
still hasn't
it is
provided an
public
answer, right?
comment with all due
You
respect,
haven't provided an
Mr.
answer.
And I am
Next
allowed,
question.
to
Next
speak
question.
as long as I can. I can
Next
stay
question.
up here all night if
I
I'd
got
like.
till 6 o'clock.
Oh, you're
Let's-
fucking rude, you fucking asshole!
Oh, my God.
I can't.
Yeah, oh,
Wow, you fit in real well with people who actually need our love, care, and attention.
Okay.
You really are.
Next
So-
question.
Okay, well, you know what? Instead of asking questions, because I'm dealing with such an arrogant, unprofessional, unlike the attorneys that we have, I am just going to read a letter that was sent out today to Mr. Hamlin. How's that go? And then I'd like to read it through thoroughly, and everybody listen, and I don't want to be disrespectfully interrupted.
Say what you want. The
It's
letter
fine.
from the other lawyer that you guys hired, 24 hours after there was an executive director that was
Listen,
appointed?
we had to hire extra counsel because we had a housing authority that did absolutely no work with two other housing authorities that always work swimmingly together.
Okay.
You caught us off guard. You're coming in at the last moment, Mr. Hamlin, just so you know.
I'll explain exactly what happened when you're
No,
finished.
it's public comment now.
I will
You
explain
had your
exactly
comments
what happens
in
when you're
closed
finished.
session.
When you're finished.
Let her talk, man. Let her talk. We done sat out here for a whole hour.
You're getting all this,
Give
Charlie,
her
right?
due respect,
You're
man.
getting all this.
Talk.
Because all of you know in this room, at the end of the day, I've been here for 25 years. This man's been here for 2 minutes and has treated everybody since he's walked in this room with arrogance and
I know you don't
disrespect.
like my comments, but the truth will
I
be
can
there.
handle your comments.
Okay.
I know what I do, and I know what you do.
Exactly.
See what you guys say.
Okay, here we go. We did have to have our attorney prepare this letter because unfortunately, many of you don't realize that you've had a lot of services cut off in Mongill and in Morawski Towers. So this is just to sum it all up, and I hope you all listen very well. Dear Mr. Hamlin, I serve as conflicts counsel for both the Linden Housing Corporation and the Mongill Corporation. I'm writing to you because a very serious issue has arisen which requires immediate action by the Linden Housing Authority. Now, before I go to the next paragraph, I just want you to know, there are 3 boards. This is the Housing Authority. I sit on the Housing Corporation, which holds most of the money, that pays a big percentage of all the checks, buys most of the equipment, and pays a lot of the bills every single month, and it is a non-profit, okay?
Thank you.
I am hopeful that this issue can be addressed and remedied without the need for court intervention before the end of the week. In January of 2008, the Housing Authority entered into a management agreement with LHC. Linden Housing Corporation is LHC that I'm on, just so you know. The agreement provided that the Housing Authority would serve as a managerial agent for LHC. The Housing Authority was delegated with the responsibility of managing, operating, and administrating various services on behalf of the corporation in order to provide the corporation's residents with the highest quality management and maintenance services available. The Housing Authority was also obligated to provide personal services for the corporation in order to ensure that the corporation's residents would be efficiently, effectively served under the agreement. The corporation retained independent management of its own operations, accounts, and properties. This agreement provided that it could be terminated by either party for either reason upon 30 days in a prior written notice, which is what happened. Because at the last meeting, we had an executive director that was terminated, an attorney that resigned, and a new person that was appointed as the executive director. And with all due respect to the new executive director, She was appointed for 5 years when HUD does not permit that for an individual with no experience. She's only allowed to legally be appointed for 1 year. Additionally, she was appointed at $185,000 a year, which HUD does not approve of because she doesn't have any experience. I'll continue.
Yes.
Let me just go to the next paragraph, it works better. This agreement provided that the agreement could be terminated by either party for either reason upon 30 days prior notice. In accordance with this provision of the agreement, on February 4th, 2025, the corporation formally notified the Housing Authority in writing that it wished to terminate the management agreement. Thus, the agreement is scheduled to expire upon upcoming this Thursday, March 6th. However, after Linden Housing Authority advised that it was terminating the management agreement, the Housing Authority shut off all of Linden Housing Corporation and Mongil's access to their vital managerial operation systems. The systems which were terminated by the Housing Authority include access to PHA Web operating systems, surveillance system, locks, desktop computers, printers, copying machines, check scanners, operating systems, vehicles, tools, and other miscellaneous items. Neither Linden Housing Corporation nor Mongil have access to these systems and items for almost 4 weeks now. Consequently, Linden Housing Corporation and Mongil are unable to transition to self-management and, most critically, to administer affordable senior housing and provide for the health and safety of their seniors and residents. Therefore, the Linden Housing Corporation and Mongil request immediate access to the following systems and modules, which are currently in full exclusive control of the Linden Housing Authority. This can manage, administer, and operate respective entity. A PH Web is our operating system. Specifically, the Linden Housing Corporation and Mongil require access to the following modules with PH Web, which provides us work orders, tenant files and records, and financial records. Status of work that is being done in your buildings. Vendor service lists for all the people we use to hire when we have problems or issues are down, equipment to be fixed, that I might add most of it the Housing Corporation has purchased. Waiting list records, that system also holds this. Surveillance systems, we have had no cameras that we were able to view for any issues that have been going on in Murawski Towers or Mongil. Locks and building access have been denied to certain employees for the corporation. Desktop computers, printers, copying machines, check scanners, operating systems. We haven't been able to use any of them to keep things afloat. Vehicles, tools, and miscellaneous items. Access credentials. 90-day systems and equipment transition period. The above access is necessary for Linden Housing Corporation and Mongil to administer affordable housing to its senior and disabled residents. Given the rapidly approaching end of Housing Authority role as management agent to both Linden Housing Corporation and Mongil, we request that the Housing Authority provide immediate access to all of the foregoing items, modules, and systems. This will ensure that services are provided without interruption to residents and that their health and safety are protected and safeguarded. Finally, your client may be assured that Linden Housing Corporation and Mongil do not require and do not need access to the Housing Authority's files, systems, and data. They only require access to their own records and data. Linden Housing Corporation and Mongill suggest the implementation of any appropriate codes and/or restrictions to protect the Housing Authority files and to restrict the Housing Authority from accessing our records. Should you have any questions, of course, please don't hesitate to call. Yes, our attorney did write that. Additionally, I want to assure you, one, I want to thank Wally Dixon because I've been not really involved here in a couple years now. This housing board has pretty much been running the show. Things have changed. People have passed on, haven't been included in any events. But when I saw Wally Dixon's post on Facebook and I saw some of the conditions going on here, I was extremely, extremely upset. I made some phone calls and then all of this happened with, you know, interviewing. This board interviewed very amazing people who were successful, experienced, and were able to handle the job, to take care of all of you in this room, to take care of all of the buildings. They were experienced. This is not city politics here. This is not county politics here. This is certainly heavily federal compliance, Mr. Hamlin, which you're very well aware of. You know what? We could stack all our family members wherever we want, but I'll tell you what, I have all your backs, and I want you to know we do have a plan in place. On Friday, Morawski Towers and Mongill, you will have 24/7-hour security. Nobody will be trespassing incognito with visors on, handing out flyers for their little special unnecessary meetings. Nobody will be waking our residents up at 8:30 to get a vote out, Danny. Nobody. The time is over. The time is over. You know what? Really, you sat in this room tonight and you said, what's a HUD? You and Sherry have sat on boards for over 2 years. Sherry, you've sat on 2 boards. You don't know who lives in these buildings? You don't know where the seniors live? You don't know this? All of a sudden, now you're all nice to Kathy. You're all nice to Ray. You know what? What have you been doing to all these employees for 2 years as you have your special personnel reports done and checking on them and their work? They've been living in fear for years. They've been miserable. Because let me tell you, before you came along on this board, Miss Armstead, we never had a problem with these buildings. We never had them looking like this. We were one big family. We didn't sit here and preach to our residents and say, I love and care about you so much. And you know what? I'm going to do this now for you. And I'm going to do that for you now. You know when you'll do it? The end of May, beginning of June to get a damn vote out. Enough of taking care of it.
That's right.
I didn't do anything wrong. Okay, I'll talk softer, Sherry. I'll talk softer.
We got to call it to order.
Well, it is to order.
Okay,
what's your rules? Why don't you tell us the rules like you take minutes at your last meeting? Because you didn't know how to do that either. So tell me the rules.
That's personal.
And tell, it's not personal. It was a public meeting. It was a public meeting. So how?
Are you finished?
I don't think I'm finished. I just want to look at a couple of things.
Okay.
I want to know why Kathy was not hired as executive director.
I think you had enough time at the mic.
I think I can stay up here all night.
Well, let's
It's
give
a public meeting. You don't know those rules either, Sherry?
Excuse me. Don't be rude because we sat out here for a whole hour while y'all was back up in there. That's unacceptable. I mean, I don't care what y'all had to do. You're wrong. You're wrong. Let her have her turn.
Thank you. I just have 2 more things, maybe 3 more things to touch on that won't take long.
Go ahead with it.
One, I'd like to discuss the legal fees for Mr. Manfredi. First of all, we have a huge project going over on Morawski Towers, which nobody on this board seems to be concerned with. It's worth about... Yes, for 14 years, Sherry. If you listened at the meetings, when an insurance company worldwide is handing out $22 million, you don't get it in 2 weeks. Do your homework.
you have anything to say about this?
What about the,
What, some of the stuff that she's saying?
Well, I would have put Kathy in a spot, because you know what, she has to answer to you right now.
No, she
She's been
doesn't.
under enough of pressure. Oh, Danny, please.
No, she doesn't.
Listen, you know what, I think it's hysterical, because I think a lot of residents right now really have your number, and they will see. And let's see who puts their money where your mouth is, because I'll tell you what, we're having security, we will start having bingos, we will start having
Yes,
events,
ma'am.
and we are gonna start
ma'am.
giving back to the residents.
ma'am.
And you wanna know what? When they start firing all the employees here one by one, and I wonder, if you're discussing all personnel tonight, did you give any of the employees rice notices? Any of them? Did you discuss employees? Because when you left, you said you were going in closed session to discuss personnel. Were they given rice notices, Mr. Hamlin?
That would mean that we were discussing actual employees.
Well, you actually said you were going to discuss personnel matters. I think personnel,
It could.
well, were you discussing their health files? Because, I mean, there's certainly that I can understand, but were you discussing, if you're discussing personnel, usually it's about an employee, and at a certain period of time, you made Kathy leave the room. Usually that would mean in a meeting, and the meetings that I've all attended, when it's come to, you know, personnel issues, that person would usually have to leave a closed session to discuss them. And when an employee is going to be discussed, they are supposed to be given a rice notice.
Okay.
So, that's good. And I just want to put on record and put it noted, because I don't know what the future will bring the next 60 days. Certainly, we wish we could have worked everything out. But I want to just ask Miss Orlean, who's in charge of the Linden Police Department? Because it's very important for me to know that and to have that on record. Do you know who's in charge of the Linden Police Department?
Well, I'm gonna wait for you to finish. I need to rebuttal everything that you said, because first of all, you mentioned my name. You've said a lot of things that are untrue, which I consider to be slanderous. You posted on Facebook that the new hire that we have is a DEI hire, okay? And I don't understand what you are talking about. You're not here, I don't attack you, so you don't attack me. So I'm gonna wait until you finish, and then I will have my rebuttal.
Well, I will tell you this, I'm probably not going to wait for your rebuttal, because I've heard enough of your nonsense and
But you
lies
said a lot of things that
for
are
many, many
untrue.
years, and I do want to have it on record
And
that Commissioner Orland, her husband is in charge of the Linden Police Department.
Yes.
So I want to make sure that that is on record, so we all know and we are all taken care of safely here.
Oh, anyway, I would like to say something. When we came, everybody knows that's here, understand that as commissioners, we don't run the day-to-day operation. Unless the only thing we do, the interim tells us what needs to be done, and the attorney tells us, and that's all we know. It came to my attention that there was a video, okay? Someone sent it to me, all right? And they said there was a video that showed the despicable, the mistreatment of the residents. First of all, we were not in charge. There was somebody else who was acting as the interim executive director. You cannot blame us. I'm not the interim director. I'm not the employees. Do you understand? So when the video surfaced as commissioner, I felt that it was our due diligence to meet with the residents, because we were being told as commissioner, oh, everything is great. We're having meetings with coffee and stuff with the residents. We were being told everything is great. Elevators are being fixed.
So I don't think I was
let me just finish.
speaking.
You had your
I wasn't
turn.
finished speaking.
Let me
This is
finish.
still public
You
comment.
had your turn.
Danny,
You asked me a question.
Listen, I was not
Give me-
finished.
no, give
We
me a
are in
chance to
public
answer.
comment. What are you getting upset about?
Give me a chance to answer.
Excuse me, you are the first lady of the city.
I understand.
You're in these
But
buildings
give me
constantly.
an opportunity.
Let me finish. You are in these buildings constantly,
Yes.
sneaking around.
If you're going to make accusation, you need to give me an opportunity to respond. You're not going to personally attack my good name
I'm
and
not attacking your good name.
lie to the people
I'm
that
not
are in the
grandstanding.
office because
These people
you
know
are
I'm not
the one
lying.
that-
I've been around for 25 years. You've been handed, you come into these buildings and sneak around all the time. And not just your mother's building, who is a beautiful lady. You sneak around in all the other buildings. You knock at the,
Can we just really?
She's here, I mean, it's like, it's obvious
I
what
don't
her
have
identity
anything.
is.
I don't have anything
There
to
are
prove
so
or
many
hide.
other people on the board, but you have chosen to attack me.
Gretchen, please stop, because otherwise we have to.
You have chosen to attack me, and I'm gonna tell the residents. So when she asked for a question, let me respond. When the video surfaced, we decided to have a meeting with the residents. And it was in contradiction to what the interim director was telling all of us. Am I not right? We were being told that everything was great. We didn't need additional maintenance. We didn't need this. But when we had the meeting and we read and we listened to the residents, when they told us what was happening, so we started asking questions. I started asking questions. And all of a sudden, because I started questioning, I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. How are you blaming us? Who was in charge? You should be in the same page as we are.
You're in charge.
You should, no. We don't run the
You are
day-to-day.
all
We
commissioners
do
here.
not run the day-to-day operation. As
You have plenty
commissioners,
of meetings here. You don't work with the
exactly.
other boards.
If the interim
It's
and the
very
attorney doesn't
noticeable
tell
in
us
the
the truth,
conditions.
if the attorney and the interim, we're not gonna
It's
know.
very noticeable
It
that
is
for
the
years that
residents-
maintenance
listen to
hasn't
me,
had enough.
Gretchen, it is the residents who came to us who told us what was happening, and that's why I called the meeting. And immediately I was attacked for calling a meeting. I had to call the police department so that we
I've
can have
heard
a
this
meeting
one before.
with the residents.
A few times in 9 years.
But
Because then we cry
but
for our
she
safety.
is
She's
grandstanding,
always the victim.
making
I have
false
nothing to
accusations,
grandstand for
which is not
except for the
true,
people.
which is not true.
So let me just
I
leave.
didn't attack you, so you should attack me.
Let
You
me just
slandered
leave
my
with this.
name. You slandered
Oh.
my name, yes. You asked me
Danny,
questions.
how many people have you made
She got the mic, let her speak.
How many times have you made those comments to how many people in your past 10 years? So many times. It's like the boy that cried wolf. But I'll just leave this and then I will put my coat on and respectfully leave. We have the full city council all boarded, all taken over, okay? A brother-in-law, a sister-in-law, your husband. We have, let me
What
finish.
does that have to do with the
Let me
Linden
finish.
and the people? No,
We
but
have the Linden Board of Ed taken up. The employees are miserable. We now have the Linden Roselle Storage Authority taken off. And now we're on to the Linden Housing Authority. And like I mentioned to you before, this isn't your city, county, state government where everybody knows everybody and we all have to bow down. And certainly I lived that life with you for many, many years being a councilwoman. But you know what? This is the federal government. You appointed a woman that you can't even get approved to be an executive director. So in time will tell what all of you did, hiring an executive director without working with the other boards because you were probably told to, is shameful. There's a lot of good people around here. I don't need to grandstand for anything.
Bring it to a close. Bring it to a
we
close.
followed the advice of the attorney
Yeah.
and Joe. I'm
Wait till you get
That's
those
all we
bills.
did.
I hope everyone, great.
I think it's unfair for someone to come and really make accusations that are unfounded.
Sandy, I've been dealing with you for 10 years.
I
Everybody has
have
your
nothing
number.
against, I have nothing against you. I will not be
You're sheep
disrespectful
in
like
wolf's
you.
clothing. Always have been, always will.
No, she's not right. She's disrespectful, she's not right. Don't put the camera on
I'm
me.
sorry, that was very
Give me my
disrespectful to
permission.
personally attack us. The only thing I have done, yeah.
I'm Ron Wade. I'm from 1551.
Yeah.
Now, I have a lot of concerns about that building. Okay? And what's going on. Number one, these people have been working over there for 10 damn years. We all here grown.
I haven't been on the.
Ain't nobody asked you nothing. Just be quiet. Just listen to me. I'm talking. I'm talking now.
You don't talk to people like that. I asked you not to put the camera.
All right.
If you're
I
gonna-
did not give you permission.
I don't need your
Okay,
permission,
because
you're at a public
I'm
meeting,
sitting
if you
there,
wanna
okay.
speak, you're
But
gonna
a
have the
young man
camera
is
on you.
gonna disrespect a woman.
Doing nothing at all in that building. What's going on? They haven't even finished one floor.
I agree with you.
It's not just only, I'm not addressing
These
you
are the
all
questions
time.
we were
But I'm
asking. These are the questions we were asking too.
Let me
Remember.
finish, will you please?
Okay.
If you talk respectful,
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Some of y'all just gutless. I'm telling you. But my thing is, they've been over there working on that building forever.
That's true.
What's going on? It's a half a building. I've done seen them put up brand new buildings all around. This is ridiculous. Don't disrespect me, okay? I'm talking. Because everybody got their damn hand in the goddamn cookie jar.
That's true.
Everybody. Now, everybody stand up there holding seats and holding this. You got opposition that y'all got. You understand what I'm saying? But my thing is about where I live at. My rent done gone up. Garbage and trash outside. Out here, it's beautiful. My building look like crap. The rugs on the floor, you can hardly breathe when you get off the elevator on the floors. Now, I didn't come to the last meeting, but I'm here at this one. I'm fired up. Okay? But then y'all talk about you shorthanded or this and this and that. Shit, excuse me, but you got people standing around talking, ain't doing nothing. What's up with that? And then you wonder why things can't get done. Yeah. So what's going on? Now you can talk.
Okay, one of the things I'm gonna tell you, first of all, I've only been on the board for only like, this is my second year. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Let me try to explain. I'm the lawyer, I was just hired for this board, right?
can you tell us your name?
My name is Raymond Hamlin. I'm a partner at the law firm of Hunt, Hamlin, and Ridley. I've been practicing law for about 35 years, okay? Understand. Just tell us. My understanding is that there are 3 buildings here in Linden, correct?
Right.
There's this building, right? There's another building that's run by the Housing Corporation, right? I think that's the building you're talking about. That's the building that has been in a state of disrepair for over 10 years, correct? Is that right? I wasn't here. That's my understanding.
14 years.
That building is run by the Linden Housing Corporation. It is not run by the Linden Housing Authority. There's another building called Moangill. That is also a separate corporation. In 2008, the Linden Housing Authority entered into a management agreement with the Linden Housing Corporation and with Moangill. And the Housing Authority said, we have employees here at the Housing Authority that have certain expertise. We will assist you with the management and maintenance of your other buildings because the Housing Authority doesn't own those buildings, all right? At some point in time, Ann Ferguson was your executive director. I understand she did a great job, so much so that her name is outside on the building. Maybe there are those that will disagree. I'm sure the vast majority of you agree. Once Ann Ferguson retired and then passed away, the Linden Housing Authority had to have a replacement. That's obvious, correct? They replaced Ann Ferguson with a temporary person, an interim. That person's name is Jerry Volpe.
Still didn't know nothing. Lying. I wish he was here. He lie every time he opened his mouth.
Sound good. Keep talking. That sounds great to me. Right? So during that time, from September of 2023 through October of 2024, Mr. Volpe was your interim executive director. And because there was a management agreement that was entered into in 2008, it said, whoever is the executive director here at the Housing Authority will also serve as the executive director of the Housing Corporation and Moangill. Ann Ferguson did that for at least 16 or 17 years.
Okay, so wait a minute, wait, I understand what we know about Ann, but my thing is,
Just give me about 10 more minutes, right, just to explain this. The commissioners began to change, right? New commissioners were appointed. It seemed to them, the new commissioners, that this project that's been going on for 10 years, 14 years, has been going on too long. We don't know what's happening with that project, and why is it taking 14 years? We see buildings that are going up in 14 months. Why are we still trying to repair a building for 14 years? Okay? One thing, just give me a second, guys. Give me a second. They decided that we need someone who is a permanent executive director, not an interim. Because an interim is just a temporary person. A permanent has a permanent stake in the outcome of what happens for you residents. So what do? They decide in November of 24 to hold interviews. People apply, whoever is interested. It was at least 5 people that applied. The Housing Authority made interviews in January. They interviewed them all. What you need to be an executive director in New Jersey is a bachelor's degree, some experience in real estate or public administration. You don't have to be a prior executive director. And if you have a master's degree, then you get credit for some of the other experience, at least 3 years of credit. So if you have a doctorate degree, one would think you get more, right? The Housing Authority decided on February the 3rd that they were going to appoint a doctor to be the executive director. Someone who has experience, someone who's been in the property area, someone who's a certified HUD manager, as I understand it. When we came to that meeting, I was at that meeting. I was appointed. Your prior board counsel decided that his days here were going to be ending. He was going to stay on to help me because I know Joe Manfredi for decades. All right? On February the 4th, now keep in mind this management agreement has been in place for 17 years. No complaints, no studies, no analyses, nothing that says we can't operate. In fact, everyone was operating in harmony. On February the 4th, there was a meeting that was held by the Housing Corporation, the same Housing Corporation that is responsible for that 14-year period of time where repairs are still being done. Not the Housing Authority. Let me say this.
There's nothing getting done, and all this money is being spent.
Not the Housing Authority.
Where's it at?
Here, I'm answering the question right now. The reason the Housing Authority wanted to put an executive director in place was because if you serve as the executive director for the Housing Authority, you automatically serve as the executive director of the Housing Corporation. New blood, new ideas, new experience to change potentially what hasn't changed for 14 years. That's not my fault. That's not your fault. That's not the new proposed executive director's fault. Perhaps it is the fault of those who were in power at the corporation. I don't know, but we are not responsible for the corporation. The only thing we can control is who the executive director is. So rather than accept the executive director that the Housing Authority appointed, which is what's happened for the last 17 years, And what happened when Mr. Volpe was appointed? No one questioned it. No one said that that was an issue. Instead, at the meeting, one of the board members mentioned that the doctor that is being appointed is unqualified and that she's a DEI hire. Now, you know what DEI is, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. This housing authority, the Housing Corporation, and Mongrel had diversity, equity, and inclusion for 17 years because you had Ann Ferguson, a woman, who ran this authority. And by the way, questions about salaries, God bless the dead, she was great. Her salary was over $300,000. But in any event, you now have somebody in place, you have an interim that comes in place who's not a woman, that's Mr. Volpe, who's a white male, understood. Then, at the meeting, this comment is made. Is it made because Dr. Berghammer is a woman? Probably not, because you had a woman in place for 17 years that no one thought was doing a bad job. Is it because she's a black woman? Maybe that's the reason why. So what do? Within less than 24 hours, not the housing authority, the housing corporation passed a resolution to terminate the management agreement. You can ask them why. We don't know why. No one mentioned it to us. The chairperson of your housing authority is the chairperson of the housing corporation. The lawyer at the time, who I know very, very well, was serving as the housing authority's attorney and the corporation's attorney. I don't know what advice was given at the time that the decision was made to terminate this management agreement that's been in place. And the management agreement, just so you know, pays the lion's share of all these employees who do the work over at the housing corporation. That you're all saying that the work ain't being done. So if the work isn't being done properly, don't blame the housing authority, because the housing authority wasn't responsible for it. There's a corporation, the housing board. They run it. This woman that just stood up there, they run it. So all I'm saying to you now,
about this and this and that, but I asked you a question about
all I'm saying right now is,
but somebody's got to be over somebody else to make sure something gets done.
Correct, and here's what it is.
You didn't tell me that.
No, I'm telling you what it is. The housing authority executive director is supposed to be the one that oversees the work. If they appointed someone that didn't oversee the work, how are they going to be responsible? They're not. That's why they decided we are taking back control, because we think the project's taking too long, the residents aren't getting the services that they need, and we are going to demand better oversight. That's why Commissioner Orling had a meeting with you to find out what's going on. That was her decision. That wasn't the housing corporation. Maybe they do have meetings with you guys, but it didn't sound like it. So all I'm saying is, I've been here since February the 3rd. It's a month and a day. What I can tell you that I've seen in documents in a month and a day, and you think this housing authority is BSing you, I can assure you, what I've seen is going to raise some eyebrows. And I'm prepared to go to court, because that's where I spend most of my time, in court, not at board meetings. I'm in court trying cases. So at the end of the day, if nothing else, this housing authority, board of commissioners, they want action. They want answers. And that's what we're going to try to do. We're not trying to pull the wool over nobody's eyes. I don't have a reason to. I don't have a stake in this. But at least give them a chance. Because as you know, other people have been in place that just stood there at the mic, and they've been there for decades, if not years. Maybe somebody else needs to find out exactly what's going on. And we're going to find out, hopefully, what's going on.
10 years too long.
10 years is way too long. 10 years way too long.
When I first came here, I thought this place was beautiful. After 3 years,
you realize that it's not.
Man.
You've been hoodwinked. You've been led astray. Now let's
A lot of the questions that you asked, we are on the same same page. I'm new to the board. You have to understand that, I'm new to the board. You've lived here for 10 years, you're asking that question. I had wished that you had asked that question of Gretchen that spoke, because she sits on that board. You understand? All we're asking, there's a building that is falling apart. And then when she mentioned that I was talking to the neighbors, yes, because they didn't want me to have a meeting. So I had to I needed to hear from you guys, because they were telling us that everything was okay. So they're telling us everything is okay, but I needed to hear from the residents. So they personally attacking. You notice, she only attacked me because I took the initiative to call the meeting and to hear from the residents. I'm asking the question, why is it that we have a building, I'm new, that's been sitting for over 14 years, that is falling apart, and nothing has been done, but yet the insurance gave out $23 million. What? That's what I'm asking, the same question. Exactly. What happened? The question that you're asking, we're asking the same question. What is going on with the money? Why isn't this been built? And then they lied to us. They told us that we didn't need maintenance people to clean up. And from talking to Ray, we're finding that he needs help. So what I'm going to tell you, this woman that came here, she came to Grandstand because she was told, she read a letter from an attorney. But what I'm telling you, we are fighting this for you. They are attacking us. I had to call the police just to have a meeting with the residents. What are you trying to hide?
But why you had to call the police to have
Because they were attacking me.
Wait a minute. Why did you have to call the police to have a meeting with the residents?
Because they didn't want me. They were trying to stop me.
Right.
Exactly.
They deserve answers for this.
Exactly.
Danny,
That's what I'm trying to tell you. We're on the same page.
That's enough.
We're on the same page. We're asking the tough questions. And they don't want to give us answers. So the best thing to do is to attack us.
can I just make one thing clear? I know when you're talking and I get what you're saying, but when you're saying they never told us anything, please don't include the employees.
No, I'm just talking about the
Because
interim.
When I tell you,
Yeah.
as an employee, we were under, we couldn't talk to anybody. We weren't allowed to. We were only supposed to talk to one person.
I wish you had spoken to us.
Listen, honestly, that what Gretchen was saying about fear and stuff, that's how it was,
But it's not because of us.
So, but we could only do what we were allowed to do.
No, they aren't.
And if it took.
You had to address some stuff with us. That's it. You're here right with us right now to address some stuff. Why is it that when every time somebody speaks and says something, you're the only one to open your mouth?
But in her defense, she was
But I'm just
personal attack.
It was a personal attack. We can't help it.
We have to kind of behave like humans.
up and talking about
Do we have any more? Are you good, Ron? Ron, are you good?
No, I'm not done, because even though we ask about this question, I'm saying that the things that I see, it's crazy.
It's 11 minutes in.
In the front of our building, it's like trash. The entrance is trash. The workers come through the door every day. Still see the same thing. The rugs, they're ridiculous. You can't hardly breathe when you get off the elevator.
Yeah, but if they
I'm
don't have
concerned.
help,
Wait,
it's the same way here.
A lot of it too is the construction guys going back. You can vacuum and vacuum and vacuum. And after a day's worth of them construction coming through, they're gonna be trampling up the
but they
road.
shouldn't come through here, 'cause they have their own
Ron,
elevator.
let's kind of let's step
That's
forward.
only outside elevator.
Ron, how about we do this?
They
Let's
don't
step
use that.
forward and try to improve from this day. This is what they're saying. They want to try to change things. And they want to advocate. They're here to advocate for you guys, right? So hopefully, hearing all this and hearing what she heard at the meetings with all the tenants, maybe there could be more help hired. Maybe there could be more, concentration on certain things. But we have to give it a try. And that's the whole thing. So attacking and fighting with everybody is not progress. We're not going to get anywhere. So, we have to, maybe we have to agree to disagree at this moment, but let's move forward and try to see what we can do.
Gotcha.
Just give us a chance. That's all we ask. Give us a chance.
I got you. Does anybody else have any comments from the public?
After that,
Shut up.
Hanging up. She coming up? All right, girlfriend. Hey, baby.
Y'all deal with them.
Good evening. I just want to say, I just want to say that I leave out early in the morning at 6:15 to go to work, and I be seeing squatters jumping over the fence, you know, and I'm saying, wow, something really need to be done. So I thank y'all for trying to get it done, at least, you know, to try. And also too, with this building, it still needs a lot of work too. I'm talking about far as letting people in that's not supposed to be here, because I live on the 10th floor. I go up there and sometimes people knocking on my door at 10, 11 o'clock at night talking about, do you want a dinner? Do I want a dinner? How did you get in the building? That's, you know, at that time, three men was knocking on my door. And there was another time, there's another man sitting in the corridor with his shoes and socks off, doing something to his feet. I don't know who this man was, and I'm saying, now, wow. I said, how do these people get in this building? You know, I guess they come back after the guard leaves, you know, how to get it, I don't know, but something need to be done. Okay, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, what I found interesting is that the same interim executive director that you all complained to me wasn't doing anything, the LHC hired that person the next day after we pick a permanent to be the interim executive director. So do they really care about you? Action speaks louder than words. Because you complained about this interim director not doing their job. Right. But yet, what she didn't tell you is that they voted and she voted for that person to be the interim director who didn't do anything that you, based on what you have told us. Because remember, we don't run the day-to-day. So you told us they weren't doing their job. We asked you questions. So we listened to you. But yet, when we hired a permanent one, someone with their doctorate, someone with experience, okay? Someone who's from Linden, if there's an emergency, that can come immediately, who is invested in this town, but yet they hired that same person. So you can't say, I'm only going by what you're saying. I hear your complaints. I hear your complaints. If this wasn't happening before, okay, this wasn't happening under ours, we're new. We're listening to you. So we're taking action. And because we're taking action, we're being attacked. We're being attacked. We're not allowed to ask questions. But as long as I'm on this board, I can make you the promise. I will not allow anyone that's going to come into Grandstand, slander my name, to intimidate me from asking questions. They're trying to bring politics into it. It's not political. My mother lives in that building. My aunt lives in this building. I have family members that live here. We know people. You know, she can brag all she wants. She does this, she does that. We don't brag. We have people in the audience that can tell you, we do things for the seniors. All right? But we don't say, it doesn't come from us. We don't have to brag. My thing is, yes, I went to the building to see for myself because the residents told me to. And you saw me. Was I campaigning? No. The question that I was asking you is for the quality of life. Right. How come this building has been like this for 14 years and nothing has been done? Right. How come? Those are the question that she needs to ask. Instead of coming here, Grandstand, she needs to be working with us. The purpose of her coming here was obviously to attack me. There are other people on the board who voted the same way I did. Why make it about me? Don't bring politics into it. This is about the quality of life of the residents. I don't have to tell you that the way that you're living is, to me, it's a crime. It's a crime against humanity. And you had an interim director that was there that was supposed to do this, to take care of this. They were telling us one thing and they were lying to us as commissioners. We don't know. And the question that she's asking, she should ask the same interim director that she hired. How come you didn't do your due diligence? Because you are in charge of the buildings. We're not. We work all the time, and the only thing we know is what the interim director, like that gentleman asked about that, how come what's happening to the building? We were trying to educate him, to tell him, it's not us. First of all, we were not on the board, but for 14 years, $23 million was paid to the LHC that she sits on. The question that you all need to ask, how come nothing has been done to fix that building? It is a crime against humanity. What happened to the money? Why are things not being fixed? Why are we not hiring more maintenance people to help maintain the quality of life of the building? Why is it taking so long? Why is it taking so long to fix elevators? We're not going to blame Ray. If he doesn't get the support from the interim director, if they don't get, we're not blaming Kathy. We're not blaming them. They're just the employees. They need an interim director that's going to work with them. If they're not giving them the tool, the resources, and they're lying to the commissioners, but thinking everything okay, I say thank God for that video. If it were not for that video, we wouldn't have known. And instead of coming here, she should have been screaming and yelling. Instead, she's blaming us. But we don't run the day-to-day. So I just wanted all you in the audience not to be fooled by the nonsense. We are asking the tough question. 14 years has been too long for a building to be built. That's all I have to say. I had to defend myself, but she came in to personally attack me.
Security, carpet, we need it too. This building is scandalous.
Are there any more public comments?
I just want to ask. I don't know, I just want to ask, don't jump down my throat, but I just want to ask, I see my maintenance people here, and I know they done worked all day, and I know they tired. They're going to go home, go to sleep. Some of them have their pajamas on some night. And I just want to know, is their job sacred? And to tell you another thing, even though you have the maintenance, it's a hard job. I've seen the maintenance men, when they pull out garbage, the garbage thing is long as this table. Yesterday, I had a situation. I was at home. My nurse was there. I go in the bathroom. There's this black stuff coming up like I done struck oil. And I ain't struck no oil. So I went and got the maintenance man. He had to stop what he was doing to go fix that because that was an emergency. And he came. So when the maintenance men are doing one thing and one of us have to go to them to get something done, they got to stop what they're doing. It is a lot of work on them. And I hope to God, y'all give them help or something because at the end of the day, I don't care how much they do. I don't care if they work 12 hours. They only have 2 hands and 2 hands only. And they're doing the best they can. And I'd like to know for my ones that lady and them that work in the office and stuff, because they're sitting here, they should be home with their kids and stuff. I just want to know, are their jobs sacred? Because there's a lot of talk going around that they get in the boot and stuff. And, I'm just putting the cards on the table.
That has nothing to do with us. It was Mr. Volpe that was the interim director. So whatever he put out there, I'm going to tell you, a lot of the information that we're hearing right now is from you. Right. We don't know.
Right.
We don't know. So I just want you to understand how this works. We don't have the control on how many people gets hired. We don't make that decision. Okay. The interim executive director is in charge. They take care of all the, like if he needs help, he has to go to the maintenance person. Right. And then they present to us. And if they said we need more help, we vote. But if they tell us they don't need anybody, oh, we don't need this, we need to cut here, we need to cut there, we're only listening to what they're telling us. Right. We don't know. I just wanted to tell you, we are not the bad guys. Right. But I think the impression that she tried to show is that we run the day-to-day operation. Like we're in charge. If things are not getting fixed, it's because of us. No, it's not. We don't know. That's the responsibility of the interim director that you had for over a year. But yet, you're complaining about the things that were not done. And I'm not blaming Ray, and I'm not blaming Kathy. It's the interim executive director. But yet, despite all of your complaints, they hired that same person. You have to ask yourself, why? Why? And then now they're coming in to make promises, attacking the attorney. Let me tell you, I am so thankful to our new attorney for guiding us through this, because we have not been given any proper guidance, any truth. I'm discovering that everything we were told were all lies. You know, but we don't know. So I want to be thankful to this attorney that was attacked, you know, and the reason why they came and attacked us is because they wanted to to confuse things.
He said he don't need nobody defending him.
Okay. Anybody else need to speak?
Oh, I just want to say one more thing. As to go back to the security.
Yes.
Me and this lady, Miss Peggy here, every day they can tell you in my building, I sit down there till 7 o'clock at night, 7:30. People think that we're security. We not. But we kind of think if we sit there, that they might think we security, and then they'll come in and sign the book and stuff. But we be sitting there 7:30, so we bring our little drink down. And we don't drink no beer, nothing. No, look at that. But we come down and get our little eat on drink. But I think if I'm sitting down there and there's a situation, you know, 9 out of 10 I might get handled. Like the other day I had 2 people were locked out. And when we called the answer machine, I called, they didn't know what to do. When I called, you know, they came over and stuff and let them in and stuff. So I tried to help, because the lady just moved in the building. She ain't been here a year, so she didn't know what to do. So I called, I had to end up going next door, get the police van, and he walking me over here and got her in and stuff, you know. And far as with Kathy used to live here, I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to tell her to her face. It was great. Because one day I got locked up, and I swear to God, if I'm lying, I hope I die right here where I'm at. But I got insurance though. But Kathy, I wasn't locked out 2 minutes. She said, yes, well, I'll be right there. When I looked around, she was coming in the back door with the keys in her hand. She said, let's go. And like with her being here and with Sebastian, we felt so much secure because they were right downstairs. You know, I can get on the elevator in my pajamas, go down and get them, you know. Now when something happens, we got to get Sean. And he got to come all the way over here with his pajamas and stuff, you know. But he come in his pajamas sometimes. But he's there for us, you know. And I just want to say these maintenance men, they're really working hard, you know. And like at the end of the day, they only got 2 hands.
But
you know?
everything that you said, thank you. Well, I'm just going to finish everything that you said, but I'm going to make it clear again. Remember, everything that you're asking, the interim director, like, will bring it to their attention, but that person has to act on it.
Right.
You know, they can tell us. Like, I'm going to give you one example. The elevator from that this other building was not working, so I sent out an email. I said, one of the residents contacted me, and then I go, oh, don't worry, everything is going to be great. All right? All right. I sent it to the interim director. You know, I don't know if they communicated it to the maintenance people. I don't know. That's not my job. As long as I make the report. Oh, everything was fixed. And then 1 month later, I get a call again. I thought you said you were going to send. Well, I did put in your report. Do you see what's happening here?
Yes.
We bring in your concern. If your things are not being done, it's not because of us. The bucks, it falls under the interim executive director.
Right.
I just wanted you to know this. It's not us.
Right.
Even though this woman that came in trying to make it as if we're the bad guy. We're not. We can make the decision. We cannot tell the interim director what to do. We cannot hinder them from doing their job. We're just commissioners.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that the audience understand what's going on. I just don't want to be fooled.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Any more public comment? Yep.
Good evening. My name is Charlie Cradaville. I'm the editor of New Brunswick Today, a community news outlet serving central New Jersey. And I'm recording tonight's meeting on our camera. We'll be publishing it on our YouTube channel later tonight for the benefit of the public, so folks who couldn't be here or couldn't stay for the whole thing can review what they missed. And I'll start by saying it's good to see so many people here tonight. I wish we had this many people attend our Housing Authority meetings in New Brunswick. And I also want to thank the residents and the workers for being so welcoming and accommodating. I know my camera's right in the middle of everything, and I hope I'm not blocking people's view, but I'm here first and foremost to follow up on some Open Public Records Act requests I filed. I've been filing a lot of them as we usually do, and I'm concerned because one of these requests was sent back in January on the 15th. I requested the current executive director contract, which at that point would have been the interim that so many folks have talked about tonight. And I sent that request to not only Linden Housing Authority, but I did the same thing for 45 other authorities. And the only two that haven't produced a copy of the contract was this one and the Plainfield Housing Authority. Plainfield Housing Authority tells me they're going to get it to me this week, but I really don't have any kind of status update on that request. I've also filed another request. This one is kind of a very basic thing. I wanted the 2025 public meeting schedule so I could find out when the meetings are. And I don't know if that exists yet, but that request has not received a response either. I've also requested the contract for the newly hired incoming executive director and have not gotten that. And I've also requested the candidate resumes for the candidates that applied for that position and the evaluation criteria. And I've also requested copies of those management agreements, which seem like a really hot topic and a really important thing to be able to know what's in them and what do they say. And so far I have nothing. So I don't know if Mr. Hamlin, if you've received these, but I want to hand these over to you and make sure you get them.
So I can at least respond to the first one you requested, the interim executive director's contract. That was in January. That was before my time. But as I understand, there was no contract.
Okay. So yeah, just needed that response to know that. If you can put that in writing, I'd appreciate that, and then we can consider it closed. I'll hand you all the others here.
That's fine. I think there wasn't a schedule for the meetings, but
we have a motion for that today. I can give you that today.
yeah, there's a motion for that.
Okay, and yeah, I just I appreciate the verbal response here, but I do need
yeah, that's fine.
Formal responses to all my Open Public Records Act requests. That's a basic thing that we depend on as reporters to be able to know what's really going on. And so I appreciate you looking into that and whoever else is involved in fulfilling their requests. I did want to ask, same question I asked at the last meeting, why no Zoom option? This authority has traditionally offered a remote access for folks who can't make it down here to the meeting room to still be able to watch and participate. It also enables you to make a proper recording of the meeting by pressing a single button and just saying we're going to record the meeting, and then saves me the trouble of coming up here and recording the meeting. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy to do it as a public service, but I'm curious, why no Zoom access? Why was that a thing that has been done away with? What changed?
I don't know if the authority considered continuing to do that. I do know that there was some directive that was sent out from I think the governor's office, saying that because there's no more state of emergency, that the issue of having Zoom meetings, unless there's a policy in place that you compel to have the Zoom meetings, that it's not something that should continue.
I don't believe that's the case. I mean, I attend a lot of government meetings. Many of them are exclusively on Zoom sometimes. I think that's not as good. It's better to have both options. I think you tend to get residents that want to come in person and might not be into doing Zoom, but there's really no harm in offering the option, and I certainly know of no directive that prohibits it. So I would encourage the board, if you really want to make the meetings as accessible as possible to your residents, it's very easy to go back to what you were doing. You've proven that it can be done, and I haven't heard a good reason why you stopped. So I know you've scheduled at least one meeting, March 26th. Will the board commit to offering a Zoom option for that meeting?
No comment at this time.
There was no comment?
No comment at this time.
Okay, well, I'm disappointed to hear that. I thought it was a very reasonable request. And if you have a good reason to deny the request, go for it. But if you don't, you should offer it. I hope you'll, I hope at least one board member will make a motion tonight to require a Zoom option. There's really nothing to lose by it, except if you don't do it, you're losing some transparency. And I think at this time, it's very clear that this authority needs maximum transparency. That's why it's so good people are watching tonight, and hope a lot of people are going to watch my video. And the next meeting, you should make very accessible, because there's obviously some serious issues here that need to be addressed. I know the first speaker asked about it, but I didn't exactly get a clear answer on the status of the new appointment of the new executive director. Is there a status update on that?
Unfortunately, there is not.
Okay. And just to clarify, that means Ms. Sanders is acting in the capacity, right? She's the deputy, so she is the interim or the acting?
She's the deputy executive director, and in the absence of the executive director, the deputy takes responsibility.
Okay. I did notice that the board had voted to approve a 5-year contract for the new person. My understanding from my experience in New Brunswick is that only folks who had prior ED experience were able to have a contract longer than 1 year. Has the board looked into that? Has your council looked into that? Is the 5-year contract legal?
We're waiting to hear back from HUD. If they say that she can't get 5 years, she'll get 1.
Okay, so thank you for that. And already answered my question about the schedule. You'll adopt a schedule tonight? Okay, please do that. It's really important to have a set schedule of meetings. I know your bylaws indicate some routine meetings, but it's been really hard to find out even the most basic stuff. And I do just want to close by giving a little analysis here that I think, the board could do so much better if you are upfront. Mr. Hamlin gave a lengthy set of remarks that answered a lot of questions and provided a lot of information, but he didn't do that until after a couple of speakers had come up to the podium and started asking questions. All that stuff would have been really valuable information for the residents to have, for everyone watching to have. And I attended your last meeting where you made a critical decision about picking a new executive director, and there really wasn't any discussion about why you picked the person you did, or what that meant, or how that was going to go. It was just a very kind of terse meeting, and there was not a lot of explanation. And I just, in hearing the sort of what folks have been saying and reacting to this meeting, is that they felt like you were all talking to each other and not sharing with the public. And I can't help but agree. I'm trying to make sense of what I'm seeing here, and I know that many of you do have the information, and rather than waiting until somebody asks a tough question to offer it, you're way better off explaining your actions first, and then maybe things wouldn't get so heated and wouldn't get so difficult. And just for future reference, just one man's opinion, if you are going to do an executive session, let the public speak first, so you don't have to keep folks waiting. I know many folks wanted to be here, wanted to speak, but had to leave because they didn't get the chance. So I really hope you'll consider my suggestions, make your meetings more accessible, change that order of operations there, and have a clear schedule so everybody knows when and where to go. And I appreciate you hearing me out and answering my questions tonight. Thanks, everyone.
Are there any more public comments? No.
Oh, we have one.
Hi, very nice meeting you today. I just wanted to tell you, my name is Lori Hauk. I have 29 years background of housing, and Mr. Hamlin, I wanted to thank you. Huh?
Speak up.
Oh, I want to thank you about the chair, because the chair should be here. The chair should be here on behalf of everyone, and I want to thank you on that. very much. And I just, I didn't know what I was gonna say tonight, but I wanna say on behalf of my husband, Raymond Hauk, has been in housing for 20 years. I've been in housing 29 years, 5 in Rahway and 25 in Woodbridge. The prior interim executive director was horrible. He did not know how to run a housing authority. It was through emails, and horrible. And it's really sad to know that my husband, to see him, the quality of life that went downhill for 14 months was horrible and heartbreaking. And the worst was at Christmas time, when they all got rice notices, not knowing at Christmas time if they were gonna lose their jobs. I have a sick son. He has epilepsy. I am disabled, I am out of work now. And I just think that what went on for 14 months was unacceptable. You have a woman sitting over there, Kathy Sanders, which is more qualified. She can run this housing authority with her eyes closed, and I don't know her that much. I've known her through the courses that I've taken throughout the years and that. But I know the staff members in this housing authority, and I don't know too many of them, they work very well. And to not know if they're going to lose their jobs is horrible. But I want to thank you guys for the board coming and acknowledging what's going on, and the different buildings are being split and everything. You know, you just can't have it one way. But also, it's just, I know there's certain things that I can't say, but I want to say that you have a good staff here, good members, and I think that should be taken into consideration on what has been going on for 14 months, and I'm sure you guys are well aware of what's been going on. But I just needed to come and speak, which I probably shouldn't have. My husband's probably gonna, God knows what he's gonna do tonight because I came without him knowing. But I wanted to let you guys know, Thanksgiving he wasn't home because something happened at nighttime. And you know what, they are overworked, understaffed, and you have to remember, Shaquan, thank you Shaquan for everything that you do, because there's 3 buildings here. And in my housing authority, we had 6 senior buildings. We had maintenance in every building. So this man has to run from building to building to building. That is unfair. Prior to the interim, there was 3 people living in the buildings, and it was much easier. So I just, you know, I want to thank you again, because unfortunately, there should be a chairperson here running the meeting along with you guys, and that is important. I guess the way that I look at it is, I was a shop steward, and I worked for the housing authority, but also for the tenants and for the workers. And I just needed to speak, and it's sad to see all the workers sitting in the back not knowing if they're going to have a job. But the worst was the rice notice at Christmas time. I was on the verge of a breakdown, and that was horrible. And my son Matthew, that is unfair that this should happen. And then the one certain gentleman walking around telling tenants that certain staff members are going to be fired or let go. That was horrifying, horrible, and that should never happen. But again, I want to thank the new attorney, the board, and Dee for meeting you tonight, and thank you for the staff of the Linden Housing Authority, Kathy, and everybody. Thank you.
Make sure you're kind to her. Thank you for having, make sure you're kind to her. Thank you for having the courage to speak, because I know it's not easy. We are under the fire because we're asking questions. I didn't realize we were asking too many questions, but you said something that's very important, and all of you too. Ask yourself, why is it that same interim executive director is hired to run the other 2 boards?
I agree.
Ask yourself that. And my advice to you, you know the name, I don't have to tell you what to do. Google Google Athletic City.
I did it
Google
all.
Athletic City, because someone sent me an anonymous letter, although I don't believe in an anonymous letter. Google Athletic City, that's all I have to say.
I did all my research on that. Yes, I did. Thank you, Dee. I appreciate it.
Nobody else said nothing.
Anyone else speak from the public?
you.
Okay, none, okay.
Motion to oppose public comment, we should vote.
To oppose?
Gotta love Sherry.
Motion to,
Yes. Oh, yeah, but we gotta do public comments.
No, but we have to vote for the
I second the
meeting.
close.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
okay, that's it, just make a motion, okay.
All in favor?
all in favor?
Okay. I need a motion to approve the 2025 meeting dates as handed out to you guys. And it'll be published on the website quick, I promise, Charlie.
But to say something to Charlie, you asked a very good question. We had nothing to do, when Ann Ferguson was there, we knew when the meetings were. It's when there was a switch to a new interim executive director that all of a sudden, we didn't know when meetings were.
Give me a second. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, I'm afraid to ask. Commissioner comments? Any?
I just want to thank everyone. I would like to say something on behalf of the board and everything. I want to thank all of you. Yes, maybe we could have had the open public meeting before we went into executive session. We have to apologize. Sometimes these things happen. And I just want all of you to know that we don't get paid for doing this job. This is really a thankless job. We're getting abused, we're getting attacked. Obviously, you will see this person come to every meeting to attack us and attack me. All of the commissioners voted the same way, but for some reason, I'm the one that's personally been attacked. Because you know what? I will not allow anyone to intimidate me. I will continue to ask questions about that building, why that building is not after 14 years, after the insurance gave out $23 million. I will continue to ask those questions, and I will continue to advocate for all of you. You know, in spite of what happened tonight, in spite of all the attack. I didn't attack anyone. They attacked me. You have to ask yourself why.
Okay. Okay. Any more commissioner comments? Okay, I need a motion to adjourn. Second.
We're gonna leave.
Vice Chair Ferguson. Humphrey. Commissioner Baycott. Commissioner Boyd. Commissioner Mallon. Commissioner. Okay.